one more situationship goes wrong and I am becoming a sister. A sister!
What is my generation gonna tell our grandkids? Grandma Emily, what were the men like when you were younger? I'm so glad you asked, little Johnny. Have you ever heard of ghosting?
They get too comfortable. When men get too comfortable and stop putting in effort, that's when like everything goes downhill. Women thrive off of the romance and excitement and effort that a man puts into the relationship. So the second it stops, she starts to get over it real quick.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at a video from Locke the Bounty Hunter titled Modern Women Destroy Themselves at the Wall. But what I think this video is truly about is younger women, or women in general, complaining and freaking out because men are not being traditional anymore. Men have thrown away things like marriage because marriage is something that is very dangerous to men. They've thrown away traditional behaviors like taking women out on dates and taking women seriously for relationships a lot of the times. And who do we have to thank for that but modern women? So without further ado, let's jump right into this first clip here. And this is a fantastic clip, okay, because this is a woman who's on the younger side and she's complaining because things are not like when her grandparents were around. Okay, when her grandparents were around, things were a lot smoother. Okay, the man would take the woman out on a date and things would progress from there. Nobody had rosters and things were fine. Okay, but things are a little bit different now and she's not too happy. So don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's jump right in, and we'll also jump into a couple more clips as well.
Our generation's grandmas would always talk about the men from when they were younger and how they would be like basically waiting in line to kiss their feet, and they were pursued. Like my grandma would always talk about how she had men just like trying to date her all the time and trying to take her out and call the house phone and all these things. What is my generation gonna tell our grandkids? Grandma Emily, what were the men like when you were younger? I'm so glad you asked, little Johnny. Have you ever heard of ghosting?
What? Yeah, see, here's what happens, okay? You are expecting traditional behavior from men, but you are not a traditional woman. Okay? It's funny how these people sit here and complain about ghosting as though, number one, they don't do it to men. Like, let's be honest here, guys. Ghosting is something that predominantly women do to men, but they hate it when it happens to them because the top percentage of men that they are chasing ghost them all the time because they're not interested in a relationship. They're not looking for something serious. You're just a piece of fun, and then they move on. It's absolutely hilarious how these people cry and complain about the problems that they created. It's absolutely hilarious. Right? What happened to all the traditional men? Why are all of the men ghosting us? Why don't men want relationships? You know, gee, I wonder why.
Generational biology to a woman, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Woman, in order to have grandkids, you kinda sorta need to have your own kids first. And let me tell you, that particular ship is leaving the port faster than you think. Here's the problem. Those women you're talking about actually had something to offer men. That's what made them worth pursuing. Self-respecting men nowadays can't be bothered with you or your hyperinflated sense of superiority thanks to being thrown atop the illusory altar of women. It's not.
Yeah, see, Locke really nailed the nail on the head here, okay? Is what do men get out of this equation? It's all very well and good to sit there and say, well, men should commit to us and men need to do X and men need to do Y. Okay, fine. Why do men need to do that? Why should a man commit to a crazy woman recording TikToks in her car? Why should a man commit to a womanist? Why should a man get married? Why should a man get in a long-term relationship? There has to be some sort of reason. And don't give me that, oh, you know, men don't believe in true love. Why does it always have to be about something? There has to be something. Let's not pretend as though these women saying it's all about love won't date men if they're not of a particular height. Okay, let's not pretend like these women are not dating dudes on long term if they don't earn a particular amount of money. Women, when they go out here and date long term and they look for marriages and stuff like this, they're looking for a guy who's going to be a provider, who's going to give them things. Okay, what do men get in return? Screwed in the family court? Screwed in the divorce court? Like, you tell me what's going to happen here. What's going to happen is men lose. So men have said, you know what? I'm not interested in the game anymore. And then we wind up with videos like this of women complaining about the situation that they put themselves in. Let's keep going.
Not worth it. You make us work too hard to get to that particular altar, only for us to find out that the altar is virtually worthless. It's structurally unsound to the point of sheer collapse, and it reeks of desperation and settling for less. It's a quaint little aroma that combines the odor of an unwashed locker room with hints of fish guts and paint thinner.
It's quite pungent.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils.
One more situationship goes wrong and I am becoming a sister. A sister, a nun, lady of God. I'm not even religious, but I just feel like every single person that I want to date, we like date for 5 weeks and then they go, I don't want a relationship, or I'm not ready, or something silly.
Yeah, isn't it silly, guys? Isn't it silly when a man doesn't want to commit to a woman? How unjust the world is. Okay, so this is literally the next clip here. And I love how we have to bring in religion, right? We're saying, oh, I'm going to be a woman of God. Sorry. Don't really know about that. You see, a lot of these, I don't really talk about religion much on this channel. But from what I understand, a lot of these churches, particularly over in America, are just filled with women who are, in all honesty, rather predatory. Because they're looking for a holy man, right? They're looking for a guy who's going to commit to them and provide for them. So they infiltrate the churches looking for these kinds of guys. That's at least from what I understand, particularly over in America. But a lot of these women, they want to turn around after a life of degeneracy and go, well, I'm going to click my fingers and I'm a holy woman now, so men have to take me seriously. Okay, so this woman has literally told you that she has a series, not just one, a series of failed relationships, otherwise known as situationships. So she's not even, this woman, it's so bad for women right now that a lot of them struggle to even get their foot in the door for a relationship. Because what happens is this: they go out there, they have their fun, you know, maybe the guy takes them out on a date or two to McDonald's, right? They have their fun for 5 weeks, and then she brings up the question, you know, so what are we? Right? She brings up the relationship question of like, you know, what's happening between us? Is this going to progress any further? Blah, blah, blah. And then the man will turn around and say something like, oh, I can see this going someplace, but perhaps right now, or I'm just working on my career right now. Basically, he'll curve her and say, no, we're not in a relationship. And then we end up with videos like this of why is it that men are not committing to us? Gee, I wonder why. It's funny because these women never actually realize that, number one, they're choosing the wrong men. They're choosing guys who are attractive to a whole bunch of women, so have no reason to commit to you whatsoever. That's number one. So they're doing this, and then they're not realizing that, hey, wait a minute, these men will never commit to me. And then number two, that while doing this, they're simultaneously ignoring all of the other men while they rack up the amount of dudes that they've been with. Really smart, really intelligent play. And of course, it's all men's fault. So let's wind that back and let's continue a bit here.
A sister, a nun, lady of God. I'm not even religious, but I just feel like every single person that I want to date, we like date for 5 weeks and then they go, I don't want a relationship, or I'm not ready, or something silly.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but that problem could have been easily solved years ago. The issue is that your taste in men is far too unreasonable for what you should be trying to get. Sure, you're sort of good looking to the point where men don't need a dozen beer to find you desirable, and though that might be enough to get a guy, it was never going to be enough to keep him. Now, you've been in too many situationships to be able to successfully start a relationship. It's far too late for you, and that's a shame because we're not that complicated. You can be a solid 5 in the looks department, but if you know how to make an amazing macaroni and cheese dish, a man would be willing to get into a hardcore bat fight just to defend your honor. It also helps if you're kind and trustworthy. That actually goes an insanely long way, but you made all of the wrong choices to the point where you need TikTok validation and copious amounts of boxed wine in order to basically function, and that's on you, sister.
You know what, guys? I think Locke is really correct about a lot of the stuff there. Men are really, I've said this, men are not complicated. We're not complicated creatures. Okay, so you know things are bad. Things have gotten really bad when men are not committing to women. right? It means something is really quite wrong here. When men are saying, you know, I'm not really interested. Yeah, I'll have fun with you, but I don't want a relationship. I don't want anything serious. The barrier, it's funny, right? Because women will complain when men exercise their ability to say no. No, I'm not interested. No, I don't want a relationship. And then all of a sudden the world is so unjust and all men are evil and terrible. It's never about, hey, what do I have that a man might want? And no guy wants a crazy woman who rants on TikTok who has been with a whole bunch of dudes, you know? But Locke's absolutely right. You can be a 5, right? And I don't really use numbers to rate people generally, but you know, for the case of an example, right? You can be a 5. You can be an average or below average woman, but if you're a nice person, that really goes a long way. If you're sane and you're a nice, normal person who doesn't have 50 dudes in her DMs, you will go a very long way to getting a relationship from a man. The problem is women like this, they've been with a whole bunch of dudes, number 1. Number 2, it is an offense to them to cook for you. Number 3, they're not nice people. Number 4, they have a whole bunch of dudes in their DMs. You know, like the list goes on, and then they wonder why men don't commit to them. It really, people think that, oh, men only care about how women look, and that's the only thing. No, you can really get away with not being the best looker on the planet, right? If you're actually a good, decent person. But that's where we mess it up, right? Being a good and decent person. And these are the women that cop it the hardest when they get to 30 years of age, because when the looks start fading, right? When we're 30, 35, 40, now we have nothing to offer men. They're not even interested in the fun. They weren't interested in the relationship before, but now they're not even interested in the fun either. So these women become completely screwed, and the videos just get more and more hilarious. Let's keep going.
I don't know if I want a relationship. I do, but you guys are convincing me that I'm not ready because you're not ready, and I just want to be loved. so yeah.
I love how she says this, guys. Like, don't fall for this. She says she just wants to be loved. You know, this is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Oh, I just want to be loved. No. We want Chad to love us. We want a very, very small percentage of men to commit to us. We don't care about the other men. We would rather be alone than date the guys that we view as below us. That's the translation here. It's not about love. It's about, I want the top guy to validate me. I want the top guy to give me a relationship. Everybody else can screw off. It's not about love, guys. It really isn't. It's about how much can I get out of a particular guy? Can I get a guy who's 6 foot? Can I get a guy who makes a lot of money? Can I get a guy who hits the gym very often? Can I get a guy who has a nice face? And so on and so forth, right? And if she can't get those things, well, she'd rather be alone and complain on TikTok.
Because you're not ready, and I just want to be loved. so yeah.
It's scary.
So even though you chose terrible men time and time again, it's still their fault for convincing you that you didn't want a relationship despite your clear desire to be loved. Yeah, that sounds about right. You could have had a stable relationship at any time, woman, but your hyperinflated ego convinced you that you deserved better, while at the same time expecting a man to offer everything to you while you offer nothing in return. What?
Yeah, see, that's the beautiful thing about these videos. Is in every single time, guys, you will notice that there is absolutely no accountability being taken whatsoever. Okay, like, check this out. This is literally the next video that I just pulled up as I say that sentence, okay? 5 mistakes that men make in relationships. You know, it's just so ridiculous how all of this absolute nonsense of men not wanting to commit to women, it's just pinned on dudes. All right, so let's take a listen to what this woman has to say.
Let's talk about 5 mistakes that men make in relationships. Number 1, they don't listen. Most women make an effort to express their emotions, but a lot of times the man just doesn't listen or take it into consideration. They tend to just brush it off and think that the girl is being dramatic, when in reality, it's a deal breaker in the relationship for her. If she brings something up to you, it's not her being dramatic. It's her genuinely being affected by something you do and asking for change. And it's difficult to ask for change, so the fact that she's doing it means it's important to her.
Oh, boo-hoo. Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Lady, I'm going to kindly ask you to stop being overly dramatic for a second because modern women have distorted their own sense of reality to the point where they think that making subtle hints, passive gestures, and mentioning things in passing counts as bringing something up.
Man, I love how Locke just instantly calls her dramatic as well. Madam, I'm going to need you to calm down, all right? Stop being so crazy and dramatic. You can tell, right, within 2 seconds that this woman would make your hair fall out if you were to live with her and have a relationship with her. Like, you can just instantly tell this sort of thing. Okay, so she wants dudes to change their behavior because it's a deal breaker in the relationship. I'm not sure why these women are getting into relationships with men who have behavioral deal breakers in the first place. Like, why are you getting into this is the thing that blows my mind is we will try and get into relationships with men, and then when we do get into a relationship with a man, we will force him to change or we will leave the relationship. You see, when you lay it out like that, when you sit down, you listen to what she said logically, it just makes you realize how lost a lot of these women are.
There's no need to mince words here. 90% of your so-called deal breakers are typically inconsequential, like the position of the laundry hamper, where he puts his shoes, or the stupid toilet seat problem. And when those things happen, men everywhere strongly advise that you just do what men do. Adapt to your surroundings, accept that life will never be perfect, and put the toilet seat down yourself.
Number 2, they get too comfortable. When men get too comfortable and stop putting in effort, that's when like everything goes downhill. Women thrive off of the romance and excitement and effort that a man puts into the relationship. So the second it stops, she starts to get over it real quick. No matter how long you guys have been together, they want to feel appreciated. They want to feel special and like the most important person in the world.
But it takes more than two to tango. Or something like that.
Okay, so that's impossible. First off, you will never find a man who will make you feel that way all the time. If you're constantly in need of some kind of an emotional fix like that, then there's something wrong with your brain. And even if what you're proposing was even remotely possible, you're forgetting a key thing here. Men want to feel appreciated and desired as well. And if you're not doing that for him, he's gonna check out and stop putting in as much effort because it's completely pointless.
You know what I realized watching a lot of these videos? Is that, and I think I said this last episode as well, but these people complaining and making lists about their requirements from men and all of this nonsense and crying and complaining in their cars and all of this garbage, it kind of just reminds me of big children. You know, children that are crying and complaining because they don't get their way and they need things to be different, and they're sitting there crying and whinging, even though, and I've always said this, the people that make the videos, guys, I would typically assume that they are to blame simply because they're the one crying on the internet, right? It's a pretty good standard, I think, right? If you have someone who's sitting down, pointing the camera at themselves, crying and complaining about how other people need to change their behavior, then that kind of tells me that perhaps that person recording the video is in the wrong, right? It's like when you see a divorced couple, okay, and then the woman gets on the internet and just bashes the dude for 5 years. I would personally kind of assume that the dude was in the right because the woman's just acting like an immature child, airing out dirty laundry all over the internet. Okay, so it's kind of like this woman who's sitting here and making her lists about here's the demands that she needs men to do. It kind of tells me that she's not really worth any of the demands that she's listing. Otherwise, she would probably get them. That's the thing, guys. It's really not hard for women to get these things, right? And again, she's talking about, I want to be appreciated. I just want to be cared for, all of this nonsense. Again, we only want to be cared about by the men that we find attractive. All of the other men are inconsequential and they don't matter. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's really hard for me to have sympathy for these individuals when, again, all of their problems are entirely self-inflicted and they refuse to see it. But carry on with your makeup video, madam.
Much. A random hug, a back rub, and the occasional compliment goes a long way in a relationship. But you're caught up in this mindset that you're so superior to the poor guy that you withhold these basic things unless he goes above and beyond just to make you feel good. And much like your logic, that's kind of messed up.
Number 3, they don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. For some reason, men will do like below the bare minimum and then expect their girlfriend to stick around, but then the second she leaves, he like freaks out and is so confused why she's gone.
Are you sure?
Oh, modern women love their buzzwords, and they will squawk out these words without any tangible definition to back them up. You accuse men of doing the bare minimum, but at no point are you willing to define what those bare minimum standards are, and that's because you have no idea what they are in the first place. And in the event that you do make that vain attempt, they're typically delusional even for the most devoted of simps. But the irony is that you'll leave your long-term boyfriend for your workplace crush for a quick rough and tumble, only for him to ghost you afterwards. And only then will you realize what you have done and what you've lost. But then you'll blame your ex for not taking you back because it's always someone else's fault that you ended up lighting that particular stick of dynamite to begin with.
Number 4, they forget the little things. When men first get into a relationship, they do all of like the little things and remember every little thing about you. But for some reason, once they go deep into the relationship, they just stop doing all of that. And women love the little things and little things of appreciation. She fell in love with the version of you that used to put things first and keep in mind the little things.
Okay, what do you mean?
Woman, men's minds do not operate the same ways as yours.
I think a lot of women who make these videos should honestly just stay single. Okay? Like, if men are such a problem to date, if men are the issue, and here are the 5 things that men need to do in relationships, and here's all of my list of demands that I'm not getting from men, and so on and so forth. Okay, cool. Don't date then. You know? But what we do, right, is we continue dating. We go out there. We see a whole bunch of bad boys. We continue to get not the princess treatment that we deserve, quote unquote. And then we, you know, cry about it on TikTok, and it's a cycle that repeats itself. Right? Go, madam, you know, go out there, get your cats, live your best life, drink your boxed wine, and it harms absolutely nobody. In fact, you're probably doing society a service. Okay? These individuals who sit here and record full-on videos of themselves about the demands that they require from men, and here's what men need to do in relationships, literally just show you it's ironic because in the video itself, you can tell, which is the comment that I was trying to make a second ago, you can tell that men don't have an incentive to do things for women like this because they're a giant pain in the backside. The dude probably gets in a relationship with her, realizes what a pain she is, and then just goes, yeah, I'm opting out.
Going to happen, but then out of nowhere, those little things become big things because you make a big deal out of these little things that have no bearing on the relationship one way or the other. And how exactly are we supposed to know what constitutes as a little thing? Is there a universal list we can consult? When does a little thing become a big thing? Do you even know what these little things are, or are you just creating needless drama in the relationship for the sake of creating needless drama? Personally, judging from the superficial gibberish with which we've been subjected, I'm gonna guess the latter.
And number 5, they start to lack quality time. As the relationship goes on, guys will start playing video games or hanging out with their friends way more than hanging out with the person that they're supposed to be in love with, and it's a problem. If you're
Man, you know what I really enjoy? When girls sit here and make demands of how much time a man is allowed to spend with his friends and playing video games. Wow, that's just, I don't know about you guys, but that just makes me so excited to jump into a relationship with this woman if she's going to try and control how much time I spend with my friends. These women are so damn lost. It's like you have to just put absolutely everything aside for them, and then if you don't, you're like a bad person and you're not a good boyfriend or you're not a good husband or whatever the case may be. Honestly, by virtue of the fact that she's saying this, it kind of makes men want to spend less time with you and more time playing video games, because at least a video game is nice to him and not a pain in the backside. You see what I'm saying? Like, when a man goes to play a video game, he finds that more relaxing than talking to you. It's ironic, right? Because I personally believe that if you're in a relationship with a woman, she should be someone who is going to make you feel relaxed and not stressed all of the time, right? That's one of the primary reasons why dudes like relationships is, you know, they have a safe place where nothing's, you know, the world is not so stressful anymore. But the problem is these women actually actively stress men out. It's like you come home from a day at work and then you're being told about how much time you can spend with your friends and how much time you can spend playing video games, and then you've got to make her feel special, and here's all of like the 500 demands that she has, and it's like, go away. You know what I'm saying? Go away. Dudes would much rather just boot up some World of Warcraft or something and not deal with you altogether. It's just absolutely mind-boggling how these people will actively try and stress men out and control how much time they can spend on certain things. Like, can you guys imagine if a dude sat down and recorded a video and was like, you know, if a woman is spending too much time doing X, then, you know, I just can't be bothered. Like, if she's going out to brunch with friends too much, you know, guys, she's just not prioritizing me enough. Like, what kind of nonsense is that? You know? Like, I don't understand, man. These people are so silly.
You're in a committed relationship. You've committed to make that partner your priority. So make them a priority, or else the girl's gonna walk away.
Well, bye.
That sounds like a really good deal to me. I don't know about you guys, but if I was going to trade this woman for some peace of mind being alone, I would certainly choose being alone. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I wouldn't mess with this woman at all.
Doesn't even sound remotely fair. Men need time away from people. We need our peace, and if we're not getting any from you, then we're gonna go play video games or go fishing or hang out with our buddies. If you're with a guy who's completely ignoring you 24/7, then that's on you for sticking around. He's not gonna change for you. We're not under that obligation. That's one you force on us because of your superficial standards. And if he's ignoring you that much, then leave. Trust me, sister, he won't care because you were never his girlfriend. You were, how can I put this in a classy way? A scratcher of the proverbial itch. But you can't accept that because deep down, you want him to love you. There's no way of changing that simply because he doesn't.
Oh, this is just so shocking. I mean,
you know, guys, so this woman here, all of these women, right? We're going to be wrapping up today's episode momentarily here, okay? So this woman right here, this woman right here, and wasn't there another one? Let me find. And this woman right here, they're all complaining about, you know, where have the traditional guys gone? Where has the chivalry gone? But they're specifically complaining about these things from the men that they're attracted to. I just want to make that absolutely clear once again, okay? So they're complaining and they're like, man, men won't change for me. Men won't do these special things for me. Men won't take me out on dates. Men won't commit to me. All of this nonsense, right? But they're specifically talking about those very attractive guys that they find on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, I don't know, whatever other dating applications there are these days. They're complaining about these dudes not giving them what they want. It's not about the average man, because the average man, again, these women do not care about the average guy. That's why they're in the situation that they're in. Hell, even the average guys, how funny is this, okay? These women are so damn miserable to be around. And I have to put that really lightly for YouTube. But even average guys are like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to have a long-term relationship here. Like, how many dudes has this woman been with again? Oh, what's that? 25? Pass. I'm good, thank you. I'm not interested. Okay, and who really ends up suffering from this is actually the women. I think men actually have a far easier time kind of tolerating this, because men just kind of, you know, we might get upset for a bit, get a bit angry, and then we kind of realize, you know, I can't really change the situation. I'm going to focus on my career. I'm going to do things that interest me, my hobbies, and so on and so forth. And men can kind of move on from that situation. And the problem is, these women, when they reach 30 and 35, the biological clock is ticking. We haven't got married yet. It's a huge dream for her. And so now we need to try and bully and shame men into giving us a ring and giving us a kids, while the dudes are out there chilling and fishing and playing video games, right? You know, all of these liberated women, guys, I congratulate them. You know why? Because they've liberated themselves from men, and I'm so proud of them, guys. You know, strong, independent. You know, we're all about equality over here. Get in that workforce, make that bread, and retire very later in life alone with your cats. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure that you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.